Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. There we go. Got the lighting. Total world victory of Hare Krishna. Welcome back to another Bhagavad Gita class. Today is Bhagavad Gita 332. Yeah, let's get into it. Nope. Oh, there we go. So, etad abhyasūyanto nānutiṣṭhanti me matam sarva-jñāna-vimūḍhāṁs viddhi naṣṭān acetasaḥ. Okay. Those two, however, etad, interesting, is TV and TU there. Etad, this, abhyasūyanto, out of envy, do not, anutiṣṭhanti, regularly perform, my, matam, injunction, sarva-jñāna, all sorts of knowledge, vimūḍhān, perfectly befooled, tan, they are, viddhi, known it well, naṣṭān, all ruined, acetasaḥ, without Kṛṣṇa consciousness, acetasaḥ. Hurry bowl, brother. Hurry bowl. Translation. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and doomed to ignorance and bondage. Purport. The flaw of not being Kṛṣṇa conscious is clearly stated herein, as there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head, so there is certainly punishment for the disobedience of the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self, of the Supreme Brahman, the Paramātmā, and the Personality of Godhead, due to the vacant hearts. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection in life. Okay. Looking at the differences, not a particularly large verse, so not a particularly large amount of dollars. Quite a bit of changes for some of the verses. So, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly have been changed to, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them are to be considered bereft. Do not practice them regularly. So do not practice them regularly has been changed to do not follow. Yeah, there's sort of a slight change in meaning from practice them regularly to follow. Follow sort of has a less connotation of action, doing stuff, while practice them regularly. Practice. You have your martial arts practice, you have your meditation practice, and that's something that you do. When you follow something, it doesn't have that sort of actionable connotation behind it. And then it says, and doomed to ignorance and bondage. and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Doomed to ignorance and bondage, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Wonder what it says in the original manuscript. And ruined in the matter of perfection. Yeah. Haribol Prahlad. Haribol. And doomed in ignorance and bondage, and ruined in the endeavors for perfection. So they've sort of gone back to the original manuscript saying, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Here it says, and in ruin in the matters of perfection. So yeah, it's going closer to the manuscript. And in ruined in endeavors of perfection. And it's a bereft of all knowledge, befooled, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Doomed to ignorance and bondage. To me, those two different things sound completely, well, not completely, but they sound different. Doomed to ignorance and bondage, or ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Ruined in their endeavors for perfection doesn't implicitly mean doomed to ignorance and bondage, but you could extrapolate that conclusion from it. But yeah, they're two different meanings. And the original manuscript does says ruined in the matter of perfection instead of doomed to ignorance and bondage. So yeah, it'll be interesting. There's no comments to that change. But yeah, interesting. And so, another change. So, in the original edition, so there is certainly punishment for the disobedience of the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Has been changed to, so there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What does the manuscript say? There's certainly punishment in disobedience. It says in. Okay. Um. Yeah, it doesn't really change the meaning. Not exactly sure. I think that's more of a grammatical choice, following like a grammatical guide. Of the obedient for the obedience of the order of the Supreme. Yeah, there's a lot of repetition of the word of. Oh, there is not a lot, but there's the repetition of the word of, and so there's a lot of for the of the of the. Well, here it's just for to the and then of the. So it's yeah. So I think that was, I don't know. My speculation would be that was there to break up the alliteration, making the sentence a bit confusing. However, so the original edition, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self, of the Supreme Brahman and Paramātmā, and the personality of Godhead. However great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman, Paramātmā, and the personality of Godhead. So yeah, so this is right here is the start of a list. So however great he may be, is ignorant to his own self of the Supreme Brahman and Paramātmā and the Personality of Godhead. So technically, it's not the proper grammatical way to write out a list. Here it is better because, in a list you have your list. That was in a list you have your list articles. I think that's what it's called. You have your list articles, so your own self, the Supreme Brahman, and the Paramātmā, and the Personality of Godhead. So you'll have those, and then the last one you say and. But this one it says and then and also has the commas. So here is ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman, Paramātmā, and the Personality of Godhead. So here it is a list with only two articles inside of it. I think articles is the right word. Well, it's a list with two different things. So the first one is his own self, and then the second one, and then it lists off the Supreme Brahman, Paramātmā, and the Personality of Godhead. So this is another list inside of this total list. So grammatically, it does make sense. I'm not sure if it needed to be changed. I do like the change. I don't think that it changes the meaning of it. And of the Supreme Brahman, Paramātmā, and the Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Anyway, these are sort of complicated sentences. There's a lot of commas and yeah. What does it say here? Fooled in the matter of knowledge about his oneself, his own self, about the Supreme Brahman, Paramātmā, and the Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So that's weird. Self and Paramātmā and Personality of Godhead. That is weird because it's gone from the manuscript which didn't say and Paramātmā to it saying and Paramātmā in the original edition. So it's interesting. Yeah, that's all the changes. Talking about the actual purports. Let's go back. There's not really much to say, it's clearly written out. It says the flaw of not being Kṛṣṇa conscious is clearly stated herein, as there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head. So there is certainly punishment for the disobedience of the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And, a disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant to his own self, the Brahman, the Paramātmā, Personality of Godhead, due to a vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope for perfection of life for him. Basically, if you not being Kṛṣṇa conscious, you consider disobedient to the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no hope of perfection in life for him. It's the purport there. Yeah, because I I don't know. I know that the perfection of life, the goal is to become, self-realized, uh Krishna consciousness, the man in Krishna consciousness, that's the goal. And not being Krishna consciousness, you're not going to be able to reach that goal. And so there's no hope for perfection in life. There might be material perfection, but that isn't perfection. There might be, it even says how whether great he may be, how much power he may have, how much money he may have, whatever. There won't be that perfection in life. Being, self-realized, yeah. There we go. Yeah, not a very long purport, but talking about the contemporary I'm actually contemporary contemporary you say contemporary or contemporary? Contemporary. Nice. Contemporary. I spelled that wrong. Contemporary. Where I get the L from? Huh. Contemporary. Okay. Contemporary okay. Contemporary application. Hmm. Yeah, thinking about all the rich, billionaires, multi-millionaires, Elon Musk, uh, Mark Zuckerberg. Those are pretty prominent examples I can think off the top of my head. Being in the news lately. Apparently they're beefing. They're gonna do a cage fight or something. But yeah, talking about you know, this is just an example, but people who have a lot of material wealth, like them, and aren't in the aren't on the path of Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is a path. It's not a yes, no. Are you Krishna conscious? Yes or no? It's a path that you go down. The people like that, they might have success materially, they might have a lot of money. I don't know. Yeah, they might be really happy. All of the stuff that they get to buy, all the stuff they get to do. Um, but they won't achieve the perfection, which is achieving Krishna consciousness. Reaching the end of the path of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and it could be the poorest people. Um, people who, I was watching a documentary, and it was for Ghana. And in Ghana, they used to be the biggest tech dump in the world. So, all the iPhones, computers, and electronic stuff that people would throw away, it would get dumped there. And it was talking about how there are, some people who live off some extraordinarily low amount of wage a day, going through the dump, picking out copper, melting it down, and then selling it. So, those are some of the poorest people on the planet, and they will also, not being Krishna conscious, will not achieve perfection in life. So, the richest people and the poorest people, they're the two opposite ends of the spectrum. No matter where you are, you won't be able to achieve the perfection in life, because perfection in life is achieving or uh reaching the end of the path of Krishna consciousness. It might not happen this lifetime, might not happen the next lifetime, but there is no hope if you are not Krishna conscious. If you are, there is a hope. If you are not, there is no hope. There we go. Yeah. So that's sort of the thing that sucks about the material world, is that whether you're the most successful person, or whether you're not successful at all, at the end of it, it basically all ends the same for you. um yeah. And so, the being Kṛṣṇa consciousness will, give you an access to perfection in life. There we go. uh okay. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. Wasn't particularly long. To finish us off, going through the purple verse again. Etad abhyasūyanto nānutiṣṭhanti me matam sarva-jñāna vimūḍhāns vimūḍhāṁs tan viddhi naṣṭān acetasaḥ. Ooh. Yeah, I'm getting a little side rant, but I'm getting better at reading the Sanskrit. Not like I'm able to see a word and then read it immediately, but I'm getting better at understanding, the structure of how the words are created and how they sound. So, I can look at it and be like, I ain't got no clue how to read this, but I can figure it out how to read it pretty quickly. So yeah. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled, and doomed to ignorance and bondage. There we go. Yeah. Thank you for, the people watching live, the people who commented. Yeah, all the people who are watching afterwards, thank you. And yeah, if you like any of the content that we do here, tag a friend, share it around. And yeah, the ending of these classes for me are always impromptu. So I always forget what I want to say. But yeah, thank you guys. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever is a almost good night for me. Did the class a little bit early today. Still got a few other things to do. But yeah, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow for another class. Param Vijayate Shri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Kṛṣṇa.